What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the second ever episode of the No Cell Podcast. I am Jeremy, also known as Home, and I'm joined by Billy.
Hello, I'm Billy.
So we had a pretty big week of wrestling this week. We had TLC, the pay-per-view, Raw, SmackDown, AEW, NXT, the usuals, and then a little bit of news. So you want to jump right into it?
Yeah, where do you want to start?
Let's start with let's go in order. Let's start with AEW.
Alright.
So
AEW opened with Jon Moxley squashing, I believe it was local talent. It might not have been. But he came out and broke his fastest win in AEW record. He came out, pinned the guy 1, 2, 3, and then Chris Jericho came out and offered him to join the Inner Circle. And told him that that's not a decision you can make right now and that you should come back to me with your choice. And that is how that went.
Yep, he beat person's name was Alex Reynolds.
Is that local talent?
I think so. And Jericho came out with the Inner Circle, said he loves what Moxley brings.
He said that Moxley in the Inner Circle would be a real paradigm shift, which is a good point.
Yep.
I feel like Jon Moxley's, it's not going to happen, obviously, but I feel like he's too serious of a character to fit in with the Inner Circle.
Oh, yeah. Him and Jericho would be...
Yeah, because Jericho, his whole career, for the most part, has always been somewhat of a, not completely a comedy gimmick, but he's been in that role forever.
Yeah, I mean, even now where he's, the top heel in the company... we'll talk about some of his segments later. He's still kind of like a joking, asshole kind of.
Yeah, he's still hilarious. I mean, a lot of what goes on with the Inner Circle feels like a cartoon villain sort of organization.
Yep.
Like their Team Rocket, except they actually won.
That's a great comparison.
They're Team Rocket with the title right now.
Yeah. So after that, we had Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall, who was making his in-ring debut versus a tag team by the name of Butcher and Blade, who was hired by MJF.
Yeah.
Tag team match was pretty good.
It was a good match. It started, QT Marshall came out, and he looked like he was just going to be some second guy, and Cody was going to do most of everything for the match. But then, I forget how QT Marshall ended up in the match, but he started to get his offense in, and it was pretty cool. He did a bunch of things. He did this weird over-the-top rope somersault flop onto the Butcher and the Blade.
Yep. Yeah, it was really strange. Yeah.
He did a crossroads.
Yep, just like everybody else in that company.
There's a lot of crossroads in that company.
But, Butcher and Blade ended up picking up the victory. Cody was just kind of sitting out on the outside, just looking defeated. And then Darby Allin came out, helped Cody up, and it's the tag team partner that Cody's been looking for.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw AEW tweeted that Darby essentially said that I'll help you now, but I want my rematch because we went to a draw, time limit draw.
Yep.
I forget which pay-per-view, so that's the story there.
Yep, and
I don't get how Cody doesn't have any friends in the company at all.
That's really weird.
Most people are indirectly on payroll because of him.
That's a great point.
If I'm not mistaken, he's part of the elite. Where's any of them? His wife's in the company.
Yeah,
how does no one have his back?
That's really weird. He's kind of like the Roman Reigns of AEW.
Yeah, the locker room leader who has no friends in the locker room.
Yep.
How did we get here?
But
also, I thought he was injured after Full Gear. I thought he was hurt badly after that match.
Yeah.
I could have sworn I saw that he was hurt and it'd take months to recover, but
guess not.
Yeah.
But there was a really good interview afterwards Cody had where he was talked a lot about QT Marshall and said it was really cool to see. He was kind of tearing up when he said it. It was really cool to see a guy who, when the match first started, when he got into the ring, the crowd was chanting Cody's partner. and then by the end of the match, he was getting like the loudest pop of the match.
He was getting QT's partner chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. And Cody had, like, he's one of the guys in wrestling right now that has the star power where just being in the ring with him can get you over.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Cody's absurdly over.
Yeah, he's.
I mean,
he's
part
one
of
of the
that's
hottest things in
because
wrestling.
part of that's because AEW is one of the hottest things in wrestling, especially the first few weeks, and he was sort of the face of all of it.
Yep.
But I mean, you don't get there without putting in the work.
Yeah.
He's done a great job. I'm pretty happy they didn't just give him the belt right away, because they really easily could have done that and justified it.
Yeah.
Because he's probably one of the hottest, like one of the 3 hottest guys in wrestling right now.
Yeah, that was really my biggest fear when AEW started, was that
all the elite would be.
Yeah, all the elite would be all the
belt.
champions and the top guys. So I really like that they've kind of taken a step back.
Yeah, I figured the Young Bucks would be the tag champions right now. Kenny Omega would probably be their main title holder.
Yeah.
Brandi would be the women's champion.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be better than what we have now with our women's champion not appearing on TV ever.
That's true. So after the match, MJF came out and
Wardlow is a great bodyguard, by the way.
Yeah, he's
huge and intimidating, and I mean most of that roster's tiny, so that helps.
Yep.
But he came out. He had this really nice promo where I believe he started it by saying the camera guy or something like that. He saw him laughing last week, so he pulled him into the ring, told him to kiss the ring. When his ring that he has on his finger, not the actual ring that he was into, but he told him to kiss the ring. When he refused, he went and hit him with a crossroads, and then he agreed to face Cody. Said he doesn't want Cody's money or anything, but he has stipulations, and then said that Texas was a garbage city and state where they do not deserve to hear his stipulations, so he will tell us in I forget which day it is, in January in Jacksonville.
I think it was January 4th.
Yeah, I think it's their first Dynamite after the New Year.
That would actually be... It's actually the 8th. My fault. Yeah. So, yep. Pretty much. And then afterwards, we had a Dark Order recruitment video.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. There was the guy in the hotel room. I can't remember his name. And he was watching the generic hotel TV thing, but then it started asking questions that applied to him. Like, are you tired of being a jobber? Which is indirectly reaching out to half of the WWE roster at the same time.
Yep.
The Dark Order are fantastic.
Yep.
I gave them my phone number, Twitter handle, and email, and I expect to hear from them at some point.
Oh my God. I can't believe you did that.
I mean, what's the worst thing that happens? They're an actual cult. Cody Rhodes is running an actual cult and is going to start abducting people.
I mean,
wouldn't that be something?
That'd be insane. So after that, we had Big Swole, who made her in-ring debut. She faced off against Sekura.
Yeah.
There was a really cool spot at the beginning part of the match where Sekura put Big Swole in a surfboard, and then she started like rolling around the ring.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I remember that. It was funny because Big Swole would, like, she was on the bottom on the mat and she was going no, and she lifted her up, and then she rolled around again and she just kept shaking her head and going no and not doing anything about it. I don't get how you get out of a surfboard if you get put in one in the first place.
That's because I mean they got your legs and your arms tied up. So
it's like that. Someone should use that as a finish.
For real.
It'd be incredibly lame, but.
So in the middle part of the match, Sekura hit Crossroads because everyone in AEW apparently does Crossroads.
Yep.
And then the finish was Big Swole took Sekura's mic stand, started dancing like James Brown, and then hit, I forgot what the finishing move was, but ended up picking up the victory over Sekura.
Yeah, I can't remember what her finish was either now.
But
yeah, it was a solid in-ring debut for someone.
Yeah, it was a pretty decent match.
That women's division desperately needs talent.
Yep, for sure.
So any little bit helps. Big Swole is believable.
Yeah.
I don't get why there's multiple wrestlers in AEW who use a half mic stand as a prop. Christopher Daniels and Emma Sakura.
Yeah, that's
It's a really specific prop. I wonder if they share it or if they each have their own.
I'm sure they share it.
You never know. They got quite the budget.
Yeah, that's true. They are backed by Jaguars owner. So yeah.
I read they want to spend less now because they're having buyer's remorse over some of the talent they already paid for.
Nice.
That's not a good sign at all. But
that's really not good.
If that's what stops them from getting Marty Scurll, I'll be dying laughing.
Oh my god.
If he shows up in NXT, we know why. You can blame Joey Janela for Marty Scurll ending up in NXT.
Pretty much.
And NWA.
So afterwards, Pac had a backstage interview where he said he wants the opportunity to face Kenny Omega, and if he doesn't get the opportunity soon, then he's not responsible for what happens next.
So we're gonna get another unsanctioned match?
Maybe.
Kenny Omega unsanctioned part 2?
That would be really good.
And he'll lose it again, and that's going to continue him going off on this spiral of how I never win, even though he's like 5-2 in singles matches.
Isn't it like 8-2 overall?
8-2 overall or something like that. I think 8-2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on fire. Because I remember last week you were talking about how he's like not as big as he should be.
And then I checked his record.
Yeah, and then I saw his record on AEW, and he's 8-2, and I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, it's like, wow. After that was the Hangman match, right?
Yep, it was Hangman Paige
and Kenny Omega versus Shawn Spears and super bad Kip Sabian, who when he comes out, his name tag says that he is hell bent on beating the Elite.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean some of these are awesome. Adam Page has said that last Wednesday he sat home and drank a whole bottle of whiskey by himself. Some of these are pretty good. What's his name? Sammy Guevarra said that he gets withdraw if he's too far away from his phone. But anyways, this match was a tag match, and then the lights went out because in the middle of the match, not for Shawn Spears' entrance, and then they came back on, and Joey Janela tied up Tully Blanchard in the chair at the top of the ring, so at the top of the ramp. So Shawn Spears ran up that and left Kip Sabian to fight Hangman 2-on-1, or Hangman and Kenny Omega.
Yep.
What's her name? Penelope Ford did the only move women ever do to men, which is a Hurricane Rana off the apron.
Yep.
And then I think Adam Page tagged himself in and finished the match, and Kenny Omega just had this really surprised look on his face. So that's going to end up being something.
Kenny hit a V-trigger, and then Hangman tagged himself in, did like a front flip into the ring, and then hit the buckshot clothesline.
Yeah. I mean, Kenny's character is sort of being him ending up distancing himself from the Elite and everyone, I guess.
Yep.
Like, that's how it feels like it's building.
There was one thing during this match that I noticed that happened a couple times throughout the night. They went to commercial break during this match.
Jim Ross.
And, JR said they AEW does like a side-by-side where they have the commercials on one side and they still have the wrestling on the other, so you don't they don't take it away from the screen. And so a couple times throughout the night they would do it, and JR would say something along the lines of like, we'll be right back,
No,
but
we
we're actually
won't.
not going anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Jim Ross, commentary and wrestling in general between Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler is awful.
Yeah.
Jim Ross doesn't remember anybody's name. He couldn't differentiate the Butcher and the Blade the whole time.
Seriously.
And I think he ended the match saying something like, I can't tell you the difference between the two of them, but I'll have to pay more attention to them or something like that.
And the Butcher's this like superly massive dude, and the Blade's like this little scrawny dude.
Which, continuing a tangent I went off of last week, those two are from Buffalo. Upstate New York still runs wrestling.
So after that, we had Brandi Rhodes promo. She was in like some sort of bar area or something.
Yeah.
basically just ripped into the women's division. Said Rio hasn't been on TV in weeks, even though she's the champion.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor only mentions her boyfriend, which
I don't think she's ever mentioned
I
Adam
don't think
Cole.
she has. And then she said not to be a hypocrite, but basically Cody Rhodes is my husband, and he's like the owner of the company, so.
Yeah.
She still wants the alien.
Chris Statlander to join her. That's
Yep,
all that's all that faction needs, apparently.
Yep.
To complete their master plan.
And then she started walking forward, and there was this bald white dude with a shaved head sitting down in a chair, and he went to go turn around to reveal his face, but Brandi said not yet, and then kissed his forehead. Or the back of his head. Excuse me. So that was pretty cool. I mean, it's
another cult faction.
Yeah, it was one of the better Brandi Rhodes promos.
Low bar.
You're not wrong. Then we had Sami Guevarra. Oh, go ahead.
This was a great segment. We had Sami Guevarra versus the Luchsauras, and then Jericho and Jack Hager came out and kicked Excalibur and what's the other old dude? Tony Schiavone?
Yep.
Is that him? Yeah, they kicked them off of commentary, and they did commentary with Jim Ross, and that was fantastic. It was just Jericho and Jim Ross going back and forth, and Jack Hager sat there looking big the whole time. It was a pretty good match. Luchasaurus threw Sami Guevarra around the whole time, and Guevara hit a few acrobatic moves, but for the most part it was just Luchasaurus being bigger and stronger and throwing him around. He beat him in the inner circle right when he hit the big slam. I think Jericho said something like, "This doesn't look good," ran all the way down to the ring. But they didn't get there in time. They started jumping the Luchasaurus, Marco Stunt, and Jungle Boy, who were on the outside. They made a remark about how the Jungle Express or Jurassic Express will gang up on people and how that's not a very nice thing to do, which was pretty funny. And then they went out and they jumped the Luchasaurus, but Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy came in, and it was a bit of a brawl there. Jack Hager got thrown out of the ring. Guevara got thrown out of the ring. And then Jungle Boy hit a Hurricane Rana and pinned Jericho, and Marco Stunt counted to 3. And they run off to the back, which is building up to next week when Jungle Boy will probably not pin Jericho 1, 2, 3 cleanly in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, I think Jericho wins that.
Either he wins it or it's a disqualification finish.
Yeah, he'll keep the title.
It's not a title match.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's a non-title match, but I still don't think he wins.
Oh, yeah, because that's the... Yeah, because it's it has a 10-minute time limit. Cause Jericho doesn't think he can go 10 minutes with him.
Oh, yeah,
Jericho
that was a gimmick.
Jericho was awesome during this match. I wrote down a couple of the quotes. He said at the beginning of the match, he was like, "I can't confirm Luchasaurus is not a real dinosaur." And then he said, Guevara had the upper hand. He said Guevara is beating the tar out of Luchasaurus. Tar is also what killed the dinosaurs.
Yeah, Jericho
and then,
commentary was real good.
Yeah. And he kept asking Hager questions, and then Hager wouldn't say anything. And he'd be like, "That's right."
Yeah. It was like when the Inner Circle took Being the Elite. They did a Q&A, and Hager didn't say anything the whole time. They had a bit where Hager was editing the video, and he was just slamming on the space bar, and Sami Guevara was cringing at the edits he was making. That was pretty good, too. That was a solid episode, but back to the Hager and Jericho match. The thing with Jericho, does he ever get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame while he's doing any work with AEW?
Say that again?
Are they ever going to induct Jericho into the WWE Hall of Fame if he's doing work with AEW? Like, I think even after he's done in-ring, he's going to be doing some kind of commentary or some role with AEW.
Yeah, I think they'll induct him.
After he's done, at least with his in-ring career?
Yeah.
I hope so.
He had 2 really good runs.
He had multiple really good runs in WWE. He was the first ever undisputed champion. He beat, was it The Rock and Stone Cold in the same night?
Yep, in the same night.
Yeah, accolade-wise, he's a WWE Hall of Famer, but just by him working in the company that's not WWE, that's in America. And like I said, I could see him doing something in some capacity, probably commentary or something when he's done wrestling. I just don't know if they induct him while he's there.
Yep. So AEW finished with Ortiz and Santana versus the Young Bucks. The winner faces SCU next week, well, this week, and it was a street fight.
It was a pretty good street fight.
Yeah, it was
they did
really
really
gimmicky.
They did what's his name? One of the Jacksons had a Cowboys helmet on, and he had a double spear.
Yeah, they put a trash can over Nick's head, and then were taking turns hitting him with a kendo stick, and then a sock stuffed with something. I couldn't figure out what it was.
I think it's coins. I forget what it is.
Okay, that would make sense.
They put it over with something.
But yeah, the show was in Dallas, so Matt put on a Cowboys helmet, which got a huge pop and ended up spear tackling Santana and Ortiz. Nick ended up doing 450 onto Ortiz with a trash can, went for a pin attempt. Jake Hager broke it up. Dustin Rhodes came out and attacked Hager. And then...
Didn't they knock a ref out and then Girl Hebner came out?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the finish was they hit a super kick onto...
the monster driver onto a chair.
Yep. They hit a super kick with a chair in front of them, and then hit a Metzel driver on top of a chair. And the Young Bucks won, and AEW closed with the Young Bucks and SCU in the middle of the ring in a stare down.
I remembered what I wanted to mention about what's going to be on AEW Dark tonight.
Okay.
You remember who's doing commentary for Dark tonight?
I do not.
Vicky Guerrero.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah, I read something about her being
I sent you to that, yeah. I sent you that, and I forgot I wanted to mention that because I remembered AEW signed someone else. Well, not necessarily signed, but they're working with someone else worth noting. It's probably a good pickup for them.
Yeah, that's just going to be weird not seeing her in WWE with her annoying gimmick.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's someone that's been around wrestling for a while, which will help them.
Yep.
Anyways, next week on AEW, well, not next week. We're recording on Tuesday evening, so tomorrow it's Jericho versus Jungle Boy. In that match, we got the SCU versus the Young Bucks for the titles. They announced Kenny Omega and Hangman versus the Lucha Bros. And I believe they announced Chris Statlander versus Britt Baker, which, considering Britt Baker's finisher is tooth-based and Chris Statlander is an alien, we're going to find out if her teeth are the same as humans' teeth.
Oh my God.
I mean, she put her finish over as dislocating your jaw, but, like, do alien jaws work the same as humans' jaws?
That's a good point. So, got anything to add for AEW?
I wonder what it would take for AEW to get Adam Cole to show up in the crowd so they could get a shot of him. I wonder if WWE would bury Adam Cole for that. I mean, it seems like something they would do. Didn't they fire someone for showing up at TNA once?
I think so. I don't remember who it was.
Anyways, speaking of Adam Cole, on to the other show from last Wednesday, NXT. We opened with Lio Rush versus Angel Garza for the Cruiserweight title, which I like that that's on NXT, but they really haven't built anything around it. Lio Rush just sort of returned out of nowhere, beat Drew Gulak, and now he's the champion, and now he lost it to Angel Garza, who proposed to his girlfriend after that match. We had Cameron Grimes versus Raul Mendoza, where Cameron Grimes beat the hell out of Kushida in the Performance Center, and then Mendoza beat him. Grimes, that is. We had Jackson Riker with the Forgotten Sons versus Travis Banks. That was a match. I don't pay attention to Forgotten Sons things. I haven't in a while.
Yeah.
We got Dakota Kai versus Mia Yim in a... it was just a regular match, right?
Yep.
Yeah, where the... it was a pretty decent match for a blood feud type of thing that's going on now. We had Dakota Kai... they took it to the outside. They did this spot where Mia Yim did a somersault into Dakota Kai on the steps, except the camera angle showed that you could see that she just sort of jumped into the steps and Kai was to the side of it.
Yeah, the camera angle was front facing, and you could see they totally botched. Well, they didn't botch it.
They didn't really botch it. It's just a bad
the camera angle was just
spot.
it should have been on the side. Yep.
Yeah, so it looks because it sounded great.
Yeah.
If you didn't see her not hit her, you'd think she killed her. But then the match ended where Dakota Kai went to the corner to grab Tegan Knox's knee brace, and the ref took that away from her. So she started untying the pad on the turnbuckle, and what's her name? Mia Yim grabbed her from behind. She slid through, pushed her face first into the turnbuckle, and then rolled her up 1, 2, 3. After the match, they battled out into the crowd again like they did last week, so I thought they were just going to battle out the door like they did last week. But instead, they went up to like the production area, and Mia Yim did this back suplex off of the production area through a table, but it looked like Dakota Kai hit her head real bad on a... because there was a table that they went through, and there was like... it was either another table or something, and it looked like she hit her head on that on the way down.
Yep.
Breezango versus the Singh Bros was an alright match. I haven't seen a Breezango tag match before now, and their gimmick are that they are male strippers. Which, yeah, I mean, it fits both of them. I'm not against it. It fits both of them. It gives them something to do. They went on a Fandango leg drop. Bianca Belair dominated Caden Carter. And then we had the main event, which was the triple threat match for the number one contender to face Adam Cole this week. And there was there were a bunch of spots where the match started with Ciampa and Keith Lee teaming up on Finn Balor because they'd been teaming a bit. And a thing I noted that I liked was that Ciampa was the first one to attack Keith Lee. And Ciampa, they did a bunch of things teasing that Keith Lee is a lot bigger than both of them, so both of them struggled with lifting him and eventually lifted both of them, or eventually lifted him each. Ciampa hit the fairy tale ending one time. The match finish was this really cool spot where Keith Lee hit the Spirit Bomb, and right as he planted Ciampa, Finn Balor hit the coup de grace on Keith Lee and pinned him. So Keith Lee took that pin in a really good triple threat match. And now we get Finn Balor versus Adam Cole to open the show for the NXT title.
That's going to be really good.
This week we are opening with that, and we are closing with Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Bazler for the women's title.
Yeah.
I don't think Adam Cole is losing this week, but I could see them finally getting the belt off of Shayna Bazler, which would be something nice. She's had that belt forever.
She's had it for I think it's almost 2 years now.
She's had it for a long time. Let me look that up. But it's been a ridiculously long time, and it's not like she's bad to where it's jarring to see it. It's believable that she's dominating the women's division. It's just, at this point, give us something new.
Yeah, they need somebody else in there.
There's a bunch of people that could take it, and that would be interesting. But I think Rhea Ripley's the one that's going to take it off of her. And then we're going to have someone like Io Shirai take it off of Rhea Ripley.
Oh, man. Io Shirai needs a title reign.
She'll have it. It'll get there.
Yeah.
I feel like they didn't have to pull Kairi Sane up. But, because they split up the Sky Pirates. But, I mean, it worked out for everyone because the Kabuki Warriors have been fantastic. And Io Shirai's had this crazy heel turn.
Yeah.
I hope somehow that becomes a trio.
Oh my goodness, they'd be insane.
How long has Shayna Bazler been champion?
So
233 days.
That doesn't seem like...
She's had 2 reigns.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say, because that's 8
know
months.
how old she is?
I would say like early 30s, like 32, 33.
39.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. So, predictions for NXT? You think that it's gonna go the 2 matches that were announced the same as I said?
Yeah, I think Adam Cole retains. I wouldn't be surprised if I think either Finn Balor or Keith Lee are the ones that take him off. Takes it off of Adam Cole. But
I think it's Keith Lee.
yeah. But even if Keith Lee won the match and he was facing Adam Cole this week, I don't think Keith Lee wins. I think Adam Cole's gonna hold it for a little bit longer, and they're gonna build a feud between the two. So
Yeah. Or, that, or they're gonna have Adam Cole in a triple threat match with like some kind of closure to Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa or something like that.
yep.
He's definitely not going to lose it this week. If anything, it's going to be a not finish where the Undisputed Era comes out or something like that.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. And then, like I said, I think this is the week that Shayna drops the title, but on the other hand, I mean, she's held it for so long, I wouldn't be surprised if she kept it.
Do we get a surprise return of Johnny Gargano or Velveteen Dream this week?
Maybe Velveteen.
I have no idea how bad either. On to SmackDown?
Yeah.
You watch
AEW and NXT look really good this week.
Yeah.
So,
Anyways, on to the go-home show for SmackDown before TLC.
Yep. SmackDown started with Fire and Desire versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. That match, you really can only get so much out of Brandi Rhodes being in a tag match.
Yeah, there's not... Nikki Cross is a good wrestler. I'm not entirely sure. I think Sonya is, but...
Yeah, Sonya's pretty good, and
you're not
Alexa's pretty good too.
Yeah, but you're not going to get too much out of that.
Yeah, so Sonya and Mandy attacked Alexa and Nikki backstage. The brawl led to the ring. The match started. It was alright. Only lasted, I think, like 5-6 minutes. And then finish was Sonya and Mandy went to go for a double suplex right next to one of the sides with the ropes. Alexa was on the outside. She pulled Mandy out by her foot, and then Nikki hit her finishing neckbreaker on Sonya and got the victory.
It was a match?
Yeah, there really isn't much to take away from that. It was a match.
It's a decent feud. Mandy pulling the eyelashes off of...
Yeah, that was brutal last week.
was brutal.
That's...
It's kind of an awkward pretense for a feud. I'm hotter than you.
Yeah, I really hate feud. That's really every Mandy feud is... They'll wrestle and she just yells at her opponent, you'll never look like me.
Yeah.
It's really stupid.
Kind of stupid.
Which, it doesn't help that she isn't that great of a wrestler, and then you're pairing it with this terrible gimmick.
Did they run the... No, that was last night. Never mind. The Liv Morgan promo.
Yeah, that was on...
That was on Raw, not SmackDown.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Then,
Otis
afterwards...
gave Sami a Christmas present.
Yeah, afterwards you had Heavy Machinery backstage. I guess SmackDown was doing a Secret Santa. Otis got Sami Zayn. Gave him a present spelled Sami with about like 20 M's. Sami opens it. It's Ham from Milwaukee, which is where SmackDown was.
Yeah.
Sami just looks at it in disgust, tells Otis he's vegan.
Didn't SmackDown open with a King Corbin promo?
It did. Yeah. Yeah, it was King Corbin and the New Day.
Yeah.
My fault.
Yeah, I was reminded because I think Big E brought up Giannis. That's the only reason I remembered that.
Yeah. King Corbin and Dolph Ziggler started SmackDown, and they were just super proud about what they did to Roman last week. At some point during his promo, Corbin name-dropped the New Day, so the New Day felt complied to come out. And Corbin pretty much promised that he was gonna humiliate Kofi like he did Roman last week.
Yay, more dog food.
So yeah, back to the Sami and Otis segment. Sami hates the ham because he's vegan, starts belittling Otis. Otis is getting really pissed off at this point, and then Cesaro
Sami's backpedaling, and then Cesaro and Shinsuke.
Yeah, Cesaro and Shinsuke back him up. And Cesaro's like, do we have any issues? And Sami's like, no, we don't have any issues, and walks away. And Cesaro takes the ham and smashes it on the floor. It was, overall, it was a really good segment.
Yeah.
Then we had a tag match, the Revival versus Shorty G and Mustafa Ali. Dash Wilder tripped on the little entrance thing at the very beginning of the ramp.
And Shorty G had a straight face. Meanwhile, Mustafa Ali was dying laughing in the ring.
Yeah.
And is it Michael Cole? Michael Cole and Corey Graves are coming up with excuses for why he tripped.
Yeah, it was Corey Graves.
Said it was psychological warfare.
Yeah. And Dash took it real well. He popped right back up and kind of laughed it off.
No flips, just trips.
Matt
Jackson tweeted, FTR fall the Revival.
So yeah, everyone got a good laugh about that. It was actually a pretty good tag match. The crowd was chanting "This is awesome" at one point.
The finish was great.
Yeah, the finish. Ali went for a crossbody off the middle rope, which the Revival countered with a Shatter Machine and ended up pinning Ali and picking up the victory.
The Revival are really, really good.
Yeah, I really like them.
They did, I believe, a 45-minute Iron Man match at the during the live tours around the last time they were here against Gable and Rude every night.
Jeez.
And it was a match of the night. I was mad that my Rochester crowd would not chant "This is awesome" at them with me. It was a great match.
Yeah,
it was a 2 out of 3 falls match that went 45 minutes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And the Shatter Machine is a really cool finisher.
The Shatter Machine is such a cool finisher.
You could
that can come out
pretty much turn anything into a reversal Shatter Machine.
It's one of my problems with WWE games. You can only do tag finishers from the corner when you tag people in.
Yep.
Which it should be done better. Anyways, on to sponsored segment number 2. Put your company here.
Oh my god. We're not quite there yet.
Pay us money. We'll say company name.
So, moving on. Bayley had a backstage promo.
I didn't watch SmackDown. All of this actually happened?
Yep. Bayley had a backstage promo, basically said she's done caring about the fans, and then Elias hit his guitar strum in the background and told Bayley that Elias got her as the Secret Santa, so he started playing a song. Said Bayley asked Santa for her to have a threesome with Elias, and then said ever since Bayley's gotten her haircut after her heel turn, she looks like a dude. Dana Brooke was right there laughing during the song.
Okay, so the way you had it listed out in the notes, I thought there was Santa there for some reason too, and Bayley asked him for that.
No.
And that made it even funnier.
But so yeah, Dana Brooke was in the background laughing at the song, which pissed Bayley off, and so Bayley said pretty much, if you have a problem, come meet me in the ring. So we had Bayley versus Dana Brooke in a match in which Bayley squashed her in about like 3 or 4 minutes.
A fighting champion.
Yep. Which is good.
Yeah.
After that, we had The Miz had a sit-down interview from his house. Talked about how he understands how valuable he is to WWE. Praised Daniel Bryan a lot. Said pretty much even though he doesn't really get along with Daniel Bryan, he still respects him and he realizes how great of a superstar he is. And then the interview gets interrupted by Maurice, who's freaking out. She pulls up this tablet which shows baby cam of Monroe in her crib, and she's playing with the Firefly Funhouse dolls.
His house is so big. If Bray wanted to actually do something to harm his child, the Miz had to run like a mile to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, it took him like a good minute or two to get up to her room.
It was a bit much.
So, right after that, they played Firefly Funhouse episode. Bray said that Miz was so focused on exposing Daniel Bryan, he exposed himself. And that since Daniel Bryan is busy with The Fiend, that Bray's going to take care of Miz. And told The Miz that you can train yourself to not feel pain, and so he's going to train The Miz to not feel love.
I just want to bring up that some of the best stuff WWE's done in the past, I don't even know how long, has been The Miz and Daniel Bryan.
Yep.
Like back when they had Talking Smack, however long ago that was, The Miz yelling at Daniel Bryan. I think that he was a coward because he wasn't wrestling at the time. It was a great promo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the best stuff they've done has been The Miz and Daniel Bryan.
Yep. For sure. Then we had Heavy Machinery versus Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura. And actually, I think that was Cesaro. Let me double check that. Yeah, it was Cesaro. My fault. Shinsuke and Cesaro was a pretty typical match between the two. The crowd was really hot for Otis. So Otis got the tag. Yeah, I love Otis. So Otis was doing typical Otis things. Just he caught a hot tag and was just shaking, moving his body around in weird ways.
Yeah.
And then the finish was he ended up going for the Caterpillar. And as he was about to hit it, Sami Zayn jumped on the ring apron, distracted him, and then Shinsuke hit the Kinshasa for the win.
Otis moving his body around feels like if Bill's Mafia became super obsessed with Big E Langston.
That's a good point.
That's what it is, and it's a perfect gimmick.
And then the last match for SmackDown, which was the final segment, we had King Corbin versus Kofi, which was actually a fairly decent match. Dolph Ziggler was ringside, and so was Big E. Dolph Ziggler ended up getting ejected by the referee, and then Dolph ended up coming back and attacked Big E, and Kofi and Corbin ended up going into the outside and turned into a brawl, and the bell rang, and then Big E grabbed a mic and said let's turn it into a tag team match. So we got the New Day versus Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler, which was actually also a pretty decent match. The Corbin and Ziggler got disqualified because they grabbed the handcuffs and handcuffed Kofi. At this point, Corbin's security comes out, and so there's the revival. They put Kofi's arms around the ring post, and then pull out all the cans of dog food. Big E comes in to save the day, and the revival hit a shatter machine. And so at this point, the 5 or 6 members of Corbin's security, the revival, Ziggler, and Corbin, are all surrounding Kofi Kingston, who's handcuffed to the ring post. And then Roman Reigns' music hits, and I don't know why, but WWE heels always do this.
They stop.
They stop and watch Roman come down the ramp, and then the security comes one by one, and he knocks out all the security.
How well did we think unnamed security would do against Roman Reigns, by the way?
I mean, that's fair, but...
No, but why is this our game plan? Throw unknown security one at a time at Roman Reigns.
And I mean, at the very least, if you're going to do that, I'd imagine at least a good heel would do that to like delay Roman, so you could pour the dog food on Kofi. So you could
continue pouring dog food on Kofi.
Yeah, but they just sat there with the cans open, watching him. Yeah. And so eventually, the numbers overwhelm Roman. They clear the announce table, put Roman on the announce table, and the Revival are holding down his arms so he can't move. Big E spears. Oh, and Dolph Ziggler was on the ladder about to dive onto Roman. Big E spears one of the Revival members. Roman wakes up, throws off the other Revival member, climbs up the ladder, and throws Ziggler off it through the announce table.
What was Ziggler doing waiting for all that?
I don't know.
Why would you stand at the top of the ladder watching Roman get up angry at you?
I don't know what the heels were doing at any point in this segment.
Corbin's Kingdom is such a joke.
Yeah.
It needs a bouncy castle.
This was really bad. I was thinking about this the other day. It's really weird because if this segment happened like 2-3 years ago during the Super Roman era, the crowd would have hated it and like booed the crap out of it.
And
but because
supporting Corbin.
Yeah, but because Roman's kind of taken a step back and been in the mid card for a while,
they cooled him off, and
Seth's kind of become the guy to hate for the WWE universe.
Yeah, but they also let Roman be more himself and less next John Cena.
That is true.
Which helps a lot because he's naturally not an obnoxious guy, but when he has suffering succotash lines, it's kind of hard to like the guy.
That's true. So yeah, SmackDown once again closed with kind of a bad segment, which, like you said, was the go home show and led us into TLC, which was the last pay-per-view of 2019.
Yeah, it was a pay-per-view.
Yeah, that started off with the Revival versus the New Day, which was a TLC match, right?
There were titles hanging above the ring. There were ladders. I don't know if there were tables involved.
I think it was. Pretty sure it was a TLC match.
I'd imagine so. It's a gimmick pay-per-view, so probably.
Which WWE usually does really well with tag team matches in general, but when you add weapons to it, they do really well.
Yeah.
Kofi was doing a lot of high athletic spots.
I saw one spot where they pushed the ladder over, he landed on the ropes, he jumped off of it and hit, I think it was Scott Dawson with like a crossbody, and Dash did this like jumping 360, like what was that bullshit? I loved that reaction to it.
So, yeah, they had a really cool spot with Big E where they had a ladder set up in the middle of the ring, and then another ladder laying flat on it between the ring post and the ladder set up in the middle of the ring. And they suplexed Big E onto the ladder, and the ladder like halfway broke. So they put him back on the ladder, and then I think it was Dash Wilder did a crossbody off the top rope and like smushed the ladder.
I want someone to win a ladder match without climbing a ladder. I want them to climb someone's shoulders or something and win it.
That'd be really cool.
I want it to happen so bad.
So, Big E hit a big ending off the top of the ladder. And then the finish was Scott Dawson and Kofi both on top of the ladders, reaching for the title. Kofi threw Scott Dawson off, and he went through a ladder that was laying flat. And then Kofi grabbed the belts. New Day retains, which I don't think surprised anybody, but it was still a really good match.
It's a good match. Can we get Zion or Giannis in a ladder match so I could just jump and grab whatever's hanging above the ring?
He could actually pull it down, too.
Could you imagine if Zion was a wrestler? Bro, that'd be insane.
I don't think Vince would realize his athletic ability, and he would make him use like the Big Show ladder.
Could you imagine if he climbed a stepladder?
Oh my god.
Bro, imagine if Zion was a wrestler and they let him actually like be his insane athletic self. Anyways, on to Buddy Murphy versus Aleister Black. Aleister Black's pants looked really stupid.
Yeah, it was like this like light green. It was like an army green color.
He should be wearing all black, at least on the leg he kicks you with when he does the black mass.
Yeah. Match started at a really cool gimmick where they were both like sitting in the middle of the ring.
Sitting thing,
Commentary pointed out that both men are undefeated since moving to Raw.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Buddy Murphy dominated the early part of the match, was working on Alistair's face a lot. Alistair's nose got busted up at some point. He was bleeding.
I saw he was bleeding a bit, yeah.
Yeah. Alistair staged a comeback when Buddy Murphy went and grabbed Alistair's jacket and went to put it on. That kind of woke Alistair up. Had this cool thing where Alistair was he was kind of like propped up on the top turnbuckle, but he was facing down, and so Buddy Murphy just kept kicking his face. It looked really brutal. And then came up, grabbed him, hit a top rope powerbomb. Alistair kicked out. Then did a jumping knee into a Shining Wizard into a Brain Buster, and Alistair kicked out once again. And then
they did the striking combination thing where they both dodged a bunch of stuff, and then Alistair Black hit the Black Mass.
Yep.
They're gonna push him to the moon. I really hope so.
Yeah.
He just puts on really entertaining and somewhat believable matches.
This was really good. This looked like a legit, like, these two dudes hate each other fight.
That's what he does.
Yeah,
and he's
it was a really good match.
If he was on SmackDown, which is where I would have had him come draft, just because I feel like he belongs on SmackDown, I'd see him being the guy that they shoot at the Fiend. Just because he's got sort of that,
I think that would be believable too.
Beyond reality gimmick going on.
Yep.
But he's just so fun to watch. I hope he has some memorable feud, because this match just sort of came out of nowhere, and I saw it announced, and I'm like, okay, it's going to be a good match, but why are we having it?
Yeah, that's a good point. It was a really good wrestling match, but it really didn't do anything for either of them.
Speaking of why did it happen matches, the Viking Raiders versus the OC was next.
Yep, the Viking Raiders came out pretty much.
An open challenge, which means nothing of meaning is going to happen in this match.
Yep. The OC accepted the challenge. Crowd was pretty hot for the Viking Raiders.
The crowd liked that they had KFC on the outside of the ring for some reason.
Yeah.
That stupid sponsorship placement got over.
Commentary pointed out that 4 fans got they had some stupid name for it. It was like the Ultimate
KFC,
Fan Package.
Yeah.
Where they got to sit ringside with a table full of KFC.
They got to eat some chicken and watch wrestling, which is a pretty good time. You
yeah.
know, I might set up a folding table next pay-per-view and put a couple buckets of KFC on it and eat it there.
Doesn't sound like a bad time.
No, it sounds like a pretty good time. If we were in the same state, we could hook it up.
For real.
I'd do it.
Yeah, I'd be down. So, it was your typical WWE tag team match. Viking Raiders, the OC dominated for a while, and then...
which one is it? It's Carl Anderson has an insane spine buster. He hit a really nice spine buster during the match.
Yeah.
I want someone's finish to be the spine buster, because if it's done right, it looks so good.
Yeah, it's a really good move.
It ended in a double count out, and then Carl Anderson went through the KFC table after they knocked all the KFC off of it. It was so stupid. I mean, Viking Raiders versus OC is an interesting program that's continuing, and I like it, but it's just kind of pointless at times.
For sure. And after that, we got Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin.
How can we incorporate the bouncy house into King Corbin's gimmick? That's what I'm going to be thinking about for the rest of the week now, because he needs a bouncy castle.
And he needs to take it 100% serious.
Yes, do you inflate it in the middle of the ring? Could you imagine if, who's even a cruiserweight on that show that's not caught up in something?
I don't know.
I don't know the SmackDown roster. I don't know who's not.
Yeah, they don't really have too many cruiserweights.
No, they don't. Could you imagine if someone hit him with some flying maneuver off of his bouncy castle? It'd be so good. I'm trying to think, is the bouncy castle at the top of the stage during his entrance like the Bailey Buddies used to be, or where does the bouncy castle go?
What if his security carries him to the ring in the bouncy castle?
Oh my god.
I don't know how you pull that off.
No, I don't think you could do that. They carry him. What if they have him walk out to the ring one time and they put down a bouncy castle, and while he's cutting a promo, they have like a hand pump that they're pumping it up with the whole time? The whole time they're inflating this bouncy castle by hand, and like Roman comes out and sticks a needle in it right as it's starting to get some shape. That'd awesome. Actually be a pretty good segment. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was a match that happened. Corbin hit him with a can of dog food. I thought it was some sponsorship placement because I thought it was a thing of Campbell's soup, but instead it was dog food.
Yep. Roman hit a Samoan drop through the announce table. Dolph Ziggler was apparently hiding under the ring the entire match. Came out, super kicked him. And then Roman hit a drive-by on Corbin and Ziggler, who were just kind of standing by the side of the ring.
Didn't they go to handcuffs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they were standing there, yeah.
Yeah, they went to go grab the handcuffs, that's right.
The
Revival came out.
Yeah, the dog food can was open. They were going to pour more dog food on him because that's good shit. God damn it, Vince. Vince and Triple H weren't at TLC.
Yeah, I saw that. That's really weird.
They didn't care.
I mean, it kind of showed. But the Revival came out. Roman Reigns, Superman punched both of them. Corbin's security came out.
Why are the Revival part of Corbin's entourage?
I don't know.
Draws
it's
them
something
together,
for them to do.
I guess, but they were just in a title match with the New Day.
Yeah, that's good.
Which Dash put over being in a ladder match by having tape around his chest.
And then Roman hit a dive over the top rope dive onto all of them. Roman set up for a spear. Ziggler ran in, hit a zigzag. Then the Revival hit a shadow machine. Then Corbin hit an end of days onto a steel chair, and Corbin picked up the victory.
Is there really no one on the SmackDown roster that could have helped Roman here?
I don't understand.
On Raw, Randy Orton had the Cruiserweights to help him when the OC attacked him. Where's Roman's
And then what's
the SmackDown roster even look like?
I mean, it's pretty much just like...
Is there really only like 15 people on it?
It'd be like New Day and The Miz and like Shorty G and Mustafa Ali, which was really weird because
Mustafa Ali could help.
Yeah, I mean, but they had that huge brawl at the end of the pay-per-view, so like, where were they during this segment?
Who else could have possibly helped? Luke Harper's on the SmackDown roster, not anymore.
Nope. He's a free agent.
They're gonna do something with Sheamus at some point. I saw his old look was back.
Yeah, he's had a couple of vignettes.
Wow, there's really not many faces on SmackDown.
No.
Lucha House Party maybe could have helped. Where's Braun Strowman at?
I don't... he's injured.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Big Show's technically a SmackDown superstar.
I didn't even know he was still with WWE. So, after that, we got Bray Wyatt versus The Miz. Bray Wyatt came out to the Firefly Funhouse theme, which was awesome.
That was great. That match was real good.
Yeah, I liked it. I just wish it got more time. Miz was super serious.
I don't know if you can give Bray matches that much time. Bray doesn't really have that much.
Yeah, I just wish he got a little bit more offense in.
I kind of wish I wish he did something other than throw the Miz into the corner and then hit him with a couple Sister Abigails. Yeah. Even though the one on the outside was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the match started and Miz was serious as you expected him to be, and Bray was just laughing at everything the Miz did. It was... Bray was quite the character. He was laughing at everything, and then Miz did the... didn't he do the Pentagon Jr. arm breaker thing?
Yeah, that's kind of what...
yeah, he did that.
That's kind of what Snap Bray is. He did
but it didn't
Pentagon
really
Jr. like...
He was still laughing and shouldering the barricade.
So
which that arm breaker spot is brutal.
Yeah, it looks...
It looks
horrifying.
So good. Oh, who did it? Thunder Rosa did it in NWA during Into the Fire to someone.
Yep, so...
It's a brutal looking spot.
He, and then Bray rolled to the outside and was ramming his shoulder into the barricade, trying to pop it back into place. Miz went to the outside. Go ahead.
I mean, him trying to ram it back into place makes sense, but it could just be him being him and wanting to cause himself as much pain as possible.
Yeah, the only reason, I think Michael Cole said
it, yeah.
Yeah.
The first thing that came to my mind was him popping it back into place because that makes sense, but I mean, it would be in tune with The Fiend or Bray Wyatt to just
of course
throw himself against the wall for no reason.
Yeah, for fun. So, Miz went to the outside. Bray hit his sister Abigail on the outside. Miz managed to roll into the ring at the count of 9.
It was kind of dumb. He was down for 9 seconds and then stood up and got in the ring in 1
yeah,
second.
That's a WWE kind of.
It's a WWE trope, and I hate it.
So, rolled into the ring at the count of 9 and was met with another sister Abigail, and Bray picked up the victory. After the match, the Fiend's picture appeared on the screen, and Bray just was looking at the screen all
something like, "Yeah, I'll do it," and he was all happy.
He was like mesmerized.
He was like, "He's here, he's here."
Yeah, so he went outside, looked under the ring, and found the Fiend's like big like, I don't know, it looks like a Harley Quinn mallet to me.
Who put it under the ring?
I don't know.
Did the Fiend like crawl up from hell to put it under the ring?
I guess. So yeah, so Bray goes in to the ring with the mallet. The lights start to go out, like the Fiend's about to appear, and Bray's just yelling, "He's here! He's here!" And then this dude with a red hood pops up, hits a Shining Wizard, and it turns out to be Daniel Bryan, who has a buzz cut, looking like he's straight out of NXT.
I mean, his hair got ripped off by the Fiend. There was only so much he could do to fix that.
That is true.
It was probably real patchy.
That is true.
He had to fix this here. He looked like straight out of NXT before he was super over Daniel Bryan as he was starting to build the S movement, which was a fun time.
Yep.
And then he grabbed the mallet and he was going to smash Bray in the head with it, but the lights went out and does everything freeze when the lights go out? Because he sort of hit the ground. Like, he was ready to swing it. The lights went out. And then when the lights came back, Bray was gone, and he swung it and put it on the ground and played to the crowd.
Yeah, I guess.
There's a lot of logic here.
Yeah, I kind of picture it like when like WWE does like an entrance, and then they go to commercial break, and the entrance music is still playing and the superstar's still in the ring.
Yeah, that's like, why? Oh, man.
So after that, we had Rusev versus Bobby Lashley in a tables match.
It was like a good Rusev versus Lashley match. 2 big guys in a table match. It was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I really liked the spot where they're on the outside and Bobby was hitting Rusev with the kendo stick, and Rusev was just like looking at Lana, just like basically like pleading with her, and she's just sitting there laughing at him.
Yeah, I liked the spot where Rusev was sitting against the post and Lashley smashed the post with the table where he was going to hit Rusev, because it brought up the question, if you swing a table like that and it breaks, do you win the tables match?
Oh my.
I mean, think about it logically.
Logically,
you are driving
yes.
them through the table, just in the opposite order of normal. I think I figured out how to fantasy book Rey Mysterio beating the Big Show in a tables match.
Yeah, I don't.
Could you imagine that you have like someone like Rey Mysterio size versus a giant in a tables match, and they go up and they smash them as hard as they can with the table in the back, and they no-sell the table shot and turn around, but the table broke, so the midget wins?
That'd be awesome.
That'd be an amazing match.
So the finish for this one was
Rusev like lining him up to put him through a table? I think so.
Yeah, Rusev.
Yeah, because he just hit his super kick.
Yeah, he got in the upper hand, was about to set him up to put him through the table. Lana runs into the ring, jumps on his back, and is like raking his eyes. And then she rolls out of the ring. Bobby goes for a spear onto a table that's in one of the corners, and the table doesn't break. So
hey, it looked really smooth though when he transitioned.
Yeah,
into
and
the suplex
then
into
Bobby
the other
did a
table.
fantastic job. Immediately picked him back up hit a suplex onto the table in the adjacent corner, and Bobby picked up the victory.
It looked so smooth that I'd believe that was the original finish anyways.
Yeah, they did a really good job.
Now, some not so great improvising. The Kabuki Warriors versus Becky and Charlotte.
Oh, my goodness.
So, I mean, let's start with the good. I liked a lot of things in that match. It was really creative. I liked them tying Becky to the ladder was hysterical.
That was awesome.
And her flailing her feet when Charlotte came up.
Yeah.
But the thing with that is they did a spot sort of where they restrained Charlotte in the chair with
the kendo stick.
Why wouldn't they just put the kendo stick through both sides and just leave Charlotte sitting there and leave Becky tied to the ladder and then just be able to climb the ladder and win?
That's a good point.
Because by WWE logic, it took Natalya 9 seconds to get out of a chair like that when she faced Lacey Evans on Raw in a last woman standing match. So theoretically, that would give you enough time to just climb the ladder. But the Kabuki Warriors did a whole lot of really good double team stuff when they were able to. Becky and Charlotte got some spots in. It was an overall solid match with a lot of brutal table and ladder spots.
Yep, for what it was a really, for his circumstances, it was a really good match.
Yeah, Kairi Sane got a concussion pretty early in the match. I'm pretty sure it was when they were right before they were throwing her back and forth on the announcer table.
It was on the.
I'm pretty sure she got it because when they were throwing the monitors off the table, Charlotte's curved and hit her in the head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could have been it. I
also saw her get suplexed into the barricade.
The barricade,
right
yep.
on her head.
That's what everyone thought it was.
I mean, overall, getting hit in the head that many times isn't good.
Yeah, at some point early in the match, it was very clear she had a concussion.
And it got real bad later on in the match.
Yeah, Becky did a really good job throughout the match. She would she was constantly talking to Kairi and just walking her through stuff. And
there was a point. There was a point after this, the spear and then a slap in the face and then the power bomb, where Becky did a couple of really soft chair shots and then rolled her under the ring.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. Which I think the original finish was supposed to be the finish they did, but instead of Asuka pulling the rope, it was Kairi. But because she was hurt and under the ring, they didn't do it that way.
Yep. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But as good of a job as Becky did, I can't say the same for Charlotte, who, even after the concussion, was constantly slapping, hitting her in the head.
The powerbomb spot was really
yeah,
nice to
the
watch.
powerbomb was the one that took the cake.
Visibly out on her feet. She wasn't standing much less being able to do things.
Yeah,
she
basically
wasn't sitting up at all. Charlotte forced her into it. She was lightly slapping, which didn't look natural at all.
Yep.
And she ended up dying through a table.
Yeah, it just looked really bad. And then, so like you said, the finish was of the match. When they tied Becky to the ladder, they tied the end of the rope to one of the sides. And so Becky used that ladder, was climbing to the top, nearly grabbed the titles, and Asuka was outside and pulled the rope, which caused the ladder to tip over. And Becky fell and I think hit the ropes, and then
Asuka climbed and won it.
Yep.
There was a funny part. There was a funny part of the match where Asuka was swinging the rope around right after they used the fire extinguisher.
Oh, yep.
Yeah,
yep.
She almost hit Kairi, which would have probably not been great for her head.
No.
They used the rope as a weapon, which was pretty cool because that actually seemed pretty brutal when you think about whipping someone with a rope.
Yeah, they got really creative with this match.
Yeah, which I wish she didn't get hurt because it probably would have been a great match. And it would have been a really nice cap to a really good decade for women's wrestling, actually. Yeah. I told you about earlier the first pay-per-view women's match was a 20-second match where it was Michelle McCool versus Mickie James for the Divas Championship, where Layla was on the outside dressed as Piggy James. Mickie James' entrance music hits. She runs out, throws Piggy James into the barricade at Royal Rumble 2010. The bell rings. She's in the ring. Piggy James gets up on the apron. Michelle McCool goes to hit Mickey James with the big boot. Instead, she hits Piggy James, and then she gets hit with the DDT 1, 2, 3, and we have a new Divas champion. Instead, we ended with a women's tag team title belt TLC match that could have been really good. It sucks that it and
got
then,
a decent amount of time too. I think it was it was around 20 minutes probably.
It sucks that she got hurt and they didn't really get her out of there or do a good job with that at all. And it looked awkward because of that. And then because she was hurt and under the ring, I feel like someone called the audible to have that brawl. Because I don't think that was originally the plan. You can't... No. I mean, it'd look awkward if your tag champions were just one of them celebrating with both belts while the other one's under the ring.
Yep.
So, yeah, they put them in a tough spot that something like that happened.
I think it was...
Ali, and is that it?
Yeah, I think it was Gable Ali and the New Day. Yeah. So, apparently... the hour and a half in between their match, Roman found some friends to help him out.
How is the SmackDown roster that tiny? Meanwhile, the Raw roster feels deep.
I don't know. I would have to take a deeper look into it.
Did they do that stupid 2-1 draft where Raw gets 2 picks and SmackDown gets 1 again?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
SmackDown had the more interesting feud in Bray Wyatt and The Miz.
Yep.
SmackDown's champion is somewhat more present.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what Brock's doing.
Why does WWE treat SmackDown like the B show still? You're never going to put SmackDown over if you don't put SmackDown over.
Which is kind of crazy because SmackDown's on Fox now. And
yeah, SmackDown has that huge influx of money. I don't know what they're doing with that. Hopefully the draft is a yearly thing, though, in some way.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be a complete redraft. I hope it's kind of some kind of
Yeah, I think they'll do.
What if they did a trade deadline?
That'd be cool.
I wish they did trades during the year normally.
I think they did a couple on draft night, but that was about it.
Yeah, but I wish it was something that not consistently every week, but something that would happen on occasion. Just so it's something that can happen and it can build a story around that. You could have someone disgruntled with where they stand in the title picture, so they want to be traded and stuff of that nature.
Yeah. But
so, are we done with TLC?
This is WWE we're talking about.
I know.
So,
it doesn't... I love the idea of brands in a wrestling company, whereas that's really something unique to WWE, and I just wish they did so much more with it.
Yep.
I like a GM character. I wish there was one that was prominent. I don't want a heel GM, really. I just want one that's there and focused on running their best show possible. Regal in NXT is really good. Just something like that.
They had who'd they used to have? I know they used Paige for a while for SmackDown.
Yeah, but there's really no one prominent. And, I mean, they don't need one because there's not any general managing that goes on.
That is true.
So we're moving on from TLC.
Yep.
All right, we have another space built in for a sponsorship. If you would like your company, brand, any product of yours shouted out, you can pay us money and we will put that here.
When we eventually get a sponsor, you're going to be so good at the plug segments.
Oh, man. I can't wait.
So, on the Monday Night Raw, which started with Seth Rollins' promo with the AOP in the ring. Basically talked about how the fans loved him when he was the guy who was wrestling every single night and the one who beat Brock Lesnar.
Which, it's not a bad point.
No, it's not.
He did bring the title back, even though we eventually lost it again.
Yeah, that is true. And told the WWE Universe that he's going to be the leader of Raw leading into 2020, and he will drag them with him, even if they are kicking and screaming. And then said he is sorry for what's to come later tonight. Afterwards, had the Viking Raiders versus the OC again, which match was pretty similar to the TLC match, which was still a good match, but
it had a finish this time.
Yeah, the OC picked up the victory, which I think was Viking Raiders' second ever loss.
The OC won the other time.
Yep. Had Eric Rowan versus a jobber, which is, if you've seen any of the previous Eric Rowan versus jobber matches, you've seen this one. The jobber goes to look into this cage that's covered by the little tarp blanket thing, which pisses Eric Rowan off. He squashes him in 30 seconds and then takes the cage back to the backstage. Lana and Bobby had a segment where Bobby proposed to Lana. Bobby was saying all this like cute lovey-dovey stuff and then ended up proposing, and Lana says, accidentally slips up and says, basically, I'm so glad you remembered your lines.
Oh, boy.
And then announced that they will get married on Lana Day.
Oh, man, that probably got booze.
Yeah, which doesn't have a set date yet.
Does Rusev Day have a set date?
No, I mean, Rusev Day is pretty much, I think it's just every day.
Every day is Rusev Day.
Then we had a gauntlet match for the number one contendership for the U.S. title.
That's a terrible way to crown a number one contender, by the way.
Yeah. It was.
There's
I think
some
the match
bias
went like,
here.
It was, yeah, because I mean, you're picking who's coming out. And
what happened to a good old championship scramble?
Oh my god.
Why not that?
That was a. I completely forgot about those.
Or do you know how they have those weird tag matches where it's 3 teams but 2 people in the ring?
Yep.
Just do that with every contender.
Oh my god. So it started with Akira Tozawa versus R-Truth.
Akira Tozawa finally wins a match.
Yep.
Poor R-Truth. R-Truth had a promo before that, though, about how where he pointed at the WrestleMania sign, but it's not up there yet. And he was confused and looking at it, and he said he was going to do something like bring the 24/7. I forget everything he said. 24/7. There was a bunch of other numbers. I-95 South title home at WrestleMania. Which does the... Can you pause the 24/7 title, or is Tozawa technically at this point the champion until later on in the show?
I guess it was paused.
But it's 24/7.
Yeah, I don't really know how that works.
Yeah.
Because after Tozawa beat him, R-Truth like ran to the back with all the jobbers chasing after him.
Yeah, here's a flaw with R-Truth being in actual matches.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. I think Tozawa should be the 24/7 champion right now.
Yeah. Well, until Ricochet came out.
Yeah. So basically, whoever won this match is the 24/7 champion. And then whoever...
No one won this match.
And then whoever wins the Ray U.S. title matches.
No one won the
U.S.
match.
and 24. That is true.
But
we don't have a 24/7 champion right now.
Well, we do, but Ricochet beat Tozawa, and then Matt Hardy came out, and he's just counting down his contract.
Pretty much.
Based on how that tweet that we discussed last week sounded.
Yep.
He came out and lost. He hit a really nice powerbomb that I saw. Humberto Carrillo came out and beat Ricochet. And then Andrade came out, and we had a no contest in a number one title match, or a number one contenders match.
Yep.
So that means Humberto Carrillo is our 24/7 champion.
I think they're gonna end up doing a triple threat.
Yeah, probably. Or Ricochet versus Andrade, and then Ray's still not gonna have anything to do.
Yep.
Meaning we have 2 non-fighting champions on Raw.
Yep. Then afterwards, Rey Mysterio was in the ring.
Why was Rey in the ring?
I don't remember. I think, let me see. Rey came out because Carrillo was stretchered out of the arena. And so...
Oh yeah, he was stretchered out after getting assaulted.
Yep. Took a hammerlock DDT to the concrete.
Yeah.
So Seth and the AOP came out. Seth wanted to bring Rey the pipe back that Rey gave to Kevin Owens last week.
Yes.
And he said he really doesn't believe in an eye for an eye or a tooth for a tooth. And said he would spare Rey this time and that Rey owed him one. and Rollins went to go leave the ring, and then turned around and hit a curb stomp onto Ray, and then afterwards challenged him for the U.S. title next week.
Seth challenged Ray for the U.S. title?
Yep.
Okay, so that's what they'll do then.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So we had a whole number one contender gauntlet.
Yeah, we basically had like a 45, 50-minute match for nothing.
Just for Seth Rollins to come out and say, I want a title shot.
Yep.
This just means no one's beating Brock. Let me pull up the Raw roster again so I can see who you can push towards Brock.
Asuka faced Deonna Purrazzo, who made her WWE debut.
Yeah, she had the NXT nameplate, but she still hasn't appeared on NXT television yet.
Purrazzo was coming off really cocky during the match, and then Asuka pretty much destroyed her, picked up the victory. After the match, Becky had a promo backstage. She talked about how Asuka's kind of gotten the best of her in this tag team feud the last couple of weeks. And so she wants to face Asuka one-on-one to prove that she's better than Asuka and the best woman in the company.
It's fair.
Yeah.
She's been a pretty good face of the company.
Oh, yeah. She's done really well the last 2-3 years.
We've been going for about as long as last week's show already.
I know. And then Raw closed with Randy Orton versus AJ. AJ worked on Randy's knee pretty much the entire match. Used the calf crusher. The match ended. Randy caught AJ going for a phenomenal forearm, hit an RKO. Picked up the victory. The OC attacked Randy after the match. Viking Raiders tried to save Randy, but just couldn't overcome the odds. And Raw ended with the OC standing over Randy and the Viking Raiders laid out.
Can either Randy or AJ beat Brock?
What's up?
Can either Randy or AJ beat Brock?
I think Randy can.
I'm just trying to figure out how you get the belt off of him.
I really don't know.
I mean, maybe Aleister Black, maybe KO.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But that was Raw.
Yep.
I mean, the Viking Raiders versus the OC are a pretty decent tag feud. AJ versus the OC is something.
AJ versus Randy?
Yeah, AJ versus Randy. Randy and the OC have had problems recently.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
You feud with one of them, you feud with all three of them.
That's a good point.
But, yeah. There's no title picture on Raw.
No.
Then again, SmackDown doesn't have one either. The tag belts are the most relevant belts on either show. Actually, the women's titles. But, yeah.
Your top heel's facing Rey Mysterio for the U.S. title.
Yeah. Other news, the hottest free agent in wrestling has signed with NWA, as Marty Scurll appeared into the fire after Nick Aldis defeated James Storm in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Yep. And Marty showed up in the full villain look after Aldis was taunting the crowd.
Yep.
Who knows how long this will last? It's probably not going to last that long.
No.
He'll probably be through the next. He'll be there if at the longest for the next cycle of tapings, and then show up at a pay-per-view, unless he's got a contract that allows him to work with AEW and NWA, which I could see.
Yeah.
Like NWA's matches are super low impact. It's more so character based, and I mean Cody had a bit of a rivalry before AEW existed with Nick Aldis. So.
Yep. Rey Mysterio recently did an interview with Sportskeeda and said that himself and He hopes to see him and the rest of the WWE universe get to see Dominic wrestle in 2020, and that he's given him the option on whether or not he wants to wear a mask. He said, because his face is pretty well known by now.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe is set to return to in-ring action next week.
Yep.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and
he's super talented.
Yeah, they've been. His last match I checked was, I think, like September 7th or 9th, or it was early September, and he's been doing commentary ever since. And they taped Raw next week, so the spoilers have already been leaked. And yep.
They taped Raw. Oh yeah, because it's Christmas week. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And he's back. That's nice.
Yep. It's good to see.
We put up a Q&A on Twitter, and we got a few questions. We'll start with, would you let Jeff Hardy swanton your girl from the top of a cage if it meant both of you got, well, I don't know. He said y'all get $15. That was from Wes. I mean, probably not. I don't think that $15 is worth Jeff Hardy taking that bump. Like, the guy's body probably only has so much longer to go. I'd feel terrible for him wasting one of his wontons on that. I mean, is it $15 for us to split, or is it 15 each? That's still not nearly enough.
Yeah, that's a really low amount.
That's a high impact spot.
Yeah.
And like, Jeff Hardy's old. I mean, maybe if it was like just to the middle of the ring from the top rope, sure, but from the cage,
off the top of a cage.
Yeah, no. We'll move on.
If it was more, if it was like,
yeah, if it's like $100,
shoot,
that's still low. Because
I'll jump off the top rope and do a swanton.
I'll try a swanton. If
I might not be able to hit it. If you're paying
for the neck surgery after, yeah. Hypothetically, would you take the $15? You're letting Jeff Hardy hit a swanton on someone else at your supervision for $15 off a cage?
I think it depends on how that person feels about Jeff Hardy.
I mean,
because like you said, $15 really isn't much. So if they don't like Jeff Hardy or don't know who he is, and they're just like not up for it, then
yeah, she probably wouldn't like Jeff Hardy if she knew who he was.
That's a good point.
We'll move on to, who do you have winning the Royal Rumble? This is from Mike.
So for the men's Rumble, it looks like it's gonna be Roman Reigns, as they're slowly setting up for Roman Reigns versus the Fiend in Mania.
I feel like it'll be Roman. I want it to be someone on Raw so we can get the belt off of Brock again. But I'm also trying to craft in my head how you have an NXT guy win it, just because I want that to happen really badly.
Yeah.
What if that's how Gargano returns?
What if you had Keith Lee beat Brock?
That'd be something.
The internet would explode.
I'd say what if it'd be Gargano, but I don't want Gargano versus Adam Cole again, so...
Yeah.
Finn Balor already Yeah, I don't really see an NXT guy doing it.
I don't really know for the women's.
So, for the women's, Sasha.
Yeah.
I'll say Drew McIntyre and Sasha Banks.
I agree with Sasha. I'll go Roman and Sasha.
Probably Roman, but I'll say Drew McIntyre for the sake of being different.
Man, if Drew McIntyre needs to do something.
Exactly. Give him Brock. Actually, give Bobby Lashley Brock.
Yo, Bobby and
That'd
Brock.
That'd
be amazing.
And we had a third question from Bailey. Why do you like wrestling? I'll let you answer that first.
It's cool. I mean, I've been watching it since.
Yeah.
That's a lame answer, but I've been watching it since I was a kid. I saw someone explain it a couple weeks ago. They were saying to all the people who really don't understand it or just don't like it. I mean, it's pretty much just like your favorite anime, drama, TV show. There's storylines, there's action, so yeah.
I mean, it's kind of pretty much anything you could look for. There's drama. It's just entertainment, but presented in a sports context, which I've always been drawn more towards.
Yep.
That's something with it. There's a lot to it because there's a lot of philosophy things that I think about with it, like, do I really care more about in-ring talent? Would you rather have a superstar signed if you were building a promotion that is a really good storyteller and has great character work, but really isn't that great in the ring, like, say, Bray Wyatt? Or would you rather have an absolute technician that could do everything in the ring, like Bret Hart or something like that? Just throwing a spin onto that.
A Bray Wyatt type.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Because I've told my friends this for a little bit. I mean, wrestling's gotten to the point now to where you can watch WWE, AEW, pretty much any semi-decent promotion, and you're gonna get really good wrestling matches.
But you're not going to get the character work anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with wrestling now, especially now, is that there's something for everyone.
Right.
There's indie promotions that are strictly comedic. There's super serious ones. There's I haven't gotten around to watching all of it, but Lucha Underground was presented more as a TV show that was wrestling and things like that. And there's weekly promotions. I mean, there's literally something for everyone in wrestling.
Yeah.
It's just finding what you want to find.
And you can access pretty much...
You can access almost anything.
Whatever content you want.
Yes. But it's just... It's a different way of approaching storytelling where it's almost a Broadway play in times.
Yeah, and there's a physical aspect, which...
Yeah, it's like... Even if it's fake, it's still impressive seeing some of the guys do the things they do.
Yep.
Like, even if it's choreographed, it's impressive. Like, just watching Ricochet do the things he does in the ring. Even if he's a smaller guy, the way he does things is impressive. Just, like, some of the hang time guys get when they do acrobatics and things. Some of the feats of strength you see. Just, like, the guys are athletes that wrestle.
Yeah, they're insane.
Yeah, that's insane. And then you put that on top of occasionally some really, really great storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you ever seen the Wrestling Isn't Wrestling video where it's essentially a career retrospective of Triple H? It was really popular a few years ago. It's like 45 minutes long. I recommend you watch it because it's...
I'll check it out.
Like I said, it's a career retrospective of Triple H, and it explains basically his whole career arc, and then there's a bonus part about Daniel Bryan in there.
Oh, nice.
It's a really well done video. I forget what the guy's name is. I'll link it to you after this. But yeah, I mean, I started watching wrestling in like 5th grade. And it's just, I mean, there's some draw to the meaningless violence in it too.
Yep.
Like, that, at least for me, watching someone get blasted with a chair is always going to be entertaining.
Yeah.
At least to the back. I don't know. Headshots are awkward now.
Yeah.
Headshots get awkward.
Yeah.
Our final segment is another One Gotta Go. It was kind of tough to come up with one, but this one, whole career, One Gotta Go, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, or AJ Styles. I thought I had an answer earlier, but now it's tougher now that I'm thinking about it more.
So I'm going to say who stays first. The first one to stay for me is AJ Styles, just because I've followed
all the way from TNA.
Pretty much. Yeah, I've followed a good majority of his career because when I was younger, I was watching WWE and TNA back in like the heyday of TNA.
Oh yeah, like, TNA used to be great.
It was like
Samoa
2008
Joe,
to like 2012.
Samoa Joe, Beer Money.
Yeah.
Who else?
Motor City Machine Guns.
Motor City Machine Guns. Yeah.
Abyss.
This was pre Aces and Eights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a little bit before that. So, I mean, he's been pretty much a top 5 wrestler for the last decade. So.
Yeah.
And then the other one I'm going to say that stays is CM Punk. Just because his run in WWE from 2011 to what was like 2014-ish.
From that Money in the Bank until pretty much when he left. Yeah,
until was... I mean, it's up there as all-time great runs. And then not only how great he was in WWE, but I think if CM Punk doesn't ever exist, we don't see the WWE that it is today, where you have a bunch of indie guys like your Adam Coles, your Kevin Owens, and I really don't think just really the overall product is as good. I think once CM Punk left, it kind of flipped a switch in Vince's head that some things need to change.
Didn't do enough.
Yeah, I mean
you're right.
It's not as good as it should be, but it definitely improved because I mean, the mid 2010 era where it was like Christian is ECW champion, Jack Swagger is world heavyweight champion, and then like Cena is WWE champion. Really wasn't that good.
Yeah, you could make a case to get rid of all of them. Originally, I was gonna say Styles, but then I thought about, because I watched a little bit of the Bullet Club stuff, and then I thought about how smooth all of his TNA stuff was, and that he's had a really good WWE run in just the short time he's been there. So then I'm thinking between Punk and Bryant, and I said before you started talking, I settled on Punk could go because I think Bryant's WWE run's pretty close to comparable.
Oh
especially at the peak of his powers with the Yes movement, where that was everywhere. You had like professional sporting events everywhere. People would go, yes.
Oh
yeah. So I just off of the WWE run, but then when you, I mean, I'll say that Punk can go of those three, but it just depends on your criteria. I'm only saying that because of longevity, because Daniel Bryan's still going, AJ Styles is still going. CM Punk left a little bit after his peak, and we didn't get, because both AJ and both AJ and Daniel Bryan sort of tapered out for a while and then built themselves back up into something else and rebuilt themselves over and over, where Punk, you really didn't get to see that as much because he left pretty much right when he started to fade. But it really depends on what you're looking at, because if you're talking about impact, then you can probably say that either Bryant or Styles have to go.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're more in, like how you define impact.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
And it was hard to put a fourth name in there because those guys are like in this weird spot where they're just outside of the WWE Mount Rushmore talk, but not really.
Yeah,
they're on the bubble for it.
There really aren't too many guys you could put that are currently wrestling in WWE who are on that same tier.
There's not too many guys ever. Like, I was thinking maybe Jericho.
Yeah, but
like Jericho feels just a tier higher because of what he's doing right now with bringing a new company in. Maybe you could put Cody in there, but that feels like a lot of recency bias where he doesn't have much other than what he's done in AEW.
Right.
Orton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although even then, Orton would probably be the one to go for me.
Orton or Triple H, maybe?
Triple H would be a good one.
Triple H,
especially since
because then when you have the Impact discussion, you have NXT.
Everything.
On top of him having great tag runs and singles runs.
Yep.
Yeah, that was one. Gotta go is hard to put together.
Yeah, well,
especially when you're trying. We'll have a more organized show at some point in time, instead of. I thought all day, because I haven't done anything all day, I was thinking I should put together some kind of notes list. We have 5 pages of notes.
Yeah.
Given it was a pay-per-view week.
Yeah, it won't be this bad.
Imagine if there's a week where there's a WWE pay-per-view, a TakeOver, and an AEW pay-per-view.
Oh, my God.
We're going to have a nice 3-part show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to break that up into segments.
We'll just have... I mean, eventually we could probably do more segmented things. We'll figure it out.
Yep. We'll slowly get there.
As we get into a better rhythm, we can have more consistent sit down and do this multiple times a week instead of just one day for 6 shows. 5 or 6 events, yeah. But you got anything else to add to any of this?
I think that's gonna do it for this week.
That's all I got. You got anything to shout out?
Well, I think that should do it. So, thank y'all for listening.
We're looking for sponsors if you would like to apply for that.
Yes, please. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at... Let me pull that up.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what it was for the life of me. It is
at No Cell Pod. Obviously, listening to this on YouTube. I'm gonna look into trying to get this on Spotify, so look out for that in the future. You can find me on Twitter at TexasHomeboy1.
You can find me at IgnorantNetsFan on Twitter.
Yeah, true to his name.
No. If you would like, we can discuss Kyrie taking a bump on the Barclays Center.
Nope, we're not going to do that. So, yeah, that should do it. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see y'all next week.
We apologize for booking a hour and 45-minute long show.
Yep.
Just wait till I start reviewing NWA Power Hour every week. That is all for us. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Yep. Peace.